What's up, Vanity Fair? It's Alvin and the Chipmunks. And today we're going to be explaining our scenes from Alvin and the Chipmunks 2007 in a few minutes. Let's begin with the intro, the most painful scene we ever had to film. So we start the film off with harmonizing to Bad Day, which led to our home breaking down in order to make a lame Christmas tree. So 3 imbeciles could have used another tree. Then we end up getting transferred. We end up at Dave's house, then starts to speculate, oh no, some robbers in my house. So we decide to search for some food instead of starving to death. And then Theodore's thumb self decides to go through the Lucky Charms. And then happy day, we found our Wonderland. Considering the fact that us chipmunks are capable of breaking into somebody's house and can fit into any cabinet. And here's the worst part. Dave decided he was going to get aggressive with us, so we had to take action. Mirror of the scene. Don't let the cheese ball jar hit you in the face on your way to a fight, because you will lose. To be honest, knocking him out with the cheese ball jar was the best method of a win. He got what he deserved, so whatever. A few hours later after I knocked him out, he wakes up, hallelujah. And to be honest, him unconscious was the greatest day of my life because no more yelling. And then that frog decides to throw us out again. So we decided to use a method. You guessed it, singing. We were giving it our best like we always do, on stage and on tour and on our songs and on our music. But there's one problem when he lets us back in. He said if we were to continue living there, that we would sing one of his songs. And I'm like, sir, we don't sing one flop wonders. Next, this imbecile decided it was a good idea to leave his pianos out in the rain, and then bring them back in again so we could record the stupid song that was already written. And then chaos began to reign once again.
Being chased by that robot is something that I will never ever forget. Filming that traumatized me for dear life, you have no idea. Even me going back and watching it just traumatizes me to the bone.
The next morning we attempted to make breakfast. That was the most silliest part of the movie. Besides, how I got these glasses on, Dave got them from a Santa Claus thingy. Ratio Santa Claus made me relevant. So we decided to record a new song with Dave, if you want to call it a new song. And one thing, Christmas Don't Be Late was released in 1958. When we first started. Dave, was it really useful to rewrite the song and then remaster it? Then make us sing it all over again? I mean, what kind of manager does that? Then Dave's clumsy self decides to take us to his record label in his decorated present box with the intentions to humiliate us, and also with the idea of, hooray, I finally found my cheese, and I'm going to send it to the Walking Dead zombie apocalypse. That was basically the main idea of Dave and Ian's plan in the first place. It was sickening. Then he decides to take his situation out on us in the car. Therefore, we had to give him a taste of his own medicine. We decided to play dirty with his job and get him fired.
Sorry doesn't get my job back now, does it, Theodore?
Rewriting original songs and persuading us to sing it all over again in order to benefit your non-existent career is worth losing a job in my book, Dave.
Another disaster, the date. He makes us clean up the house in order to host a so-called date. I mean, bro, he could have went to a restaurant. He speaks to J-Lo's stunt double, and alert, it was time for me to make my move. He made so many excuses in that date to make the woman stay, but apparently us chipmunks weren't gonna let that happen. Karma hurts, doesn't it, Dave? With our reasoning for that prank, Dave had to tell the truth, because he makes so many excuses. Then she leaves, good choice. Then Dave wanted to send us a little present, but nope, we moved on to Ian. Then, the next day, Dave takes us to the store. And surprise, we heard our remastered version of Christmas Don't Be Late on the radio. Then Dave calls Ian, rushingly.
Bango, bango, bongo, bongo, banga!
You used us for fame! Finally, Dave decides to make us sweaters, which is the highlight of our careers, of course. And then Ian comes into the picture again, bringing us presents, big presents, and persuades us to perform at his party. He then makes a long introduction that nearly put us to sleep before we performed. He finally introduces us, and then we perform. And believe me, we tore the roof off. Like we always do performance-wise. So we make this deal with Dave, and then Dave decides that he's going to go off on us again. So then we hop back to Ian's house. And lucky us, a limo drives us there. A limo! I mean, who needs Dave? I'm just saying.
The craziest thing about that scene was I actually knew how to drive a car.
I let Alvin have it in that scene. I was not going to take his buffoonery any longer. Ian then forces us to go on this long tour. That was the main cause of our exhaustion near the end of the movie. On our final stop of the tour, we were so tired that the tour had to be the lowest grossing tour of all time. We were not going to intervene. So we had to embarrass Ian too. We tried to escape, so that escalated into us being placed in a cage. And get this, you will never believe the name tag that it had on the cage. It read Jet Records Property. I'm sorry, sir, whose property? We're nobody's property. Then it escalated into an hour-long car chase, and then we finally succeeded in escaping. Mirror of the movie, you can't trust anyone, especially labels. And that's all I need to say about my experience filming this movie. Okay, cut. Dave, this is bad parenting at its finest. You need to do better. Vanity Fair, it was nice doing this, but I need a new career to uphold. I am not doing this. Stop hogging the spotlight. It's our show. Simon, you always accuse me of doing that. It's not about you. It's about me. See you hogging the spotlight every time we do a performance, not the Chipmunks or an interview. Not just Simon either. How dare you say that to me? How dare you? You should go back to the adoption center where you belong. I'm done.